Hi West Hill, we're going to read some of How to Drain Your Dragon the Day of the Dreader. The Clever and Intelligent Plan. 6 weeks after the Dreader first swam to the Isle of Berk, Hiccup Horrendous Haddock III looked up at his father, Stoic the Vast, the chief of the hairy hooligan tribe. I think you're wrong, father, stammered Hiccup. The great hall on Berk was full to bursting with hooligan warriors, slightly less large of belly and chunky of thigh than they had been 6 weeks before, but still an impressively gigantic and unwashed lot. The mass of muscled, hairy Vikings gave a gasp of horror and turned to gaze at Hiccup, who stood on one leg and turned red to the tips of his ears. Hiccup was not what you might call a typical hooligan. He was thin and clever-looking, with the kind of entirely unmemorable face that does not normally stick out in a crowd. After 6 weeks of eating very little, he was just skin and bone, and his elbows stuck out of his shirt like sticks. "Wrong?" bellowed Stoic the Vast. "You think I'm wrong?" Stoic, on the other hand, although not as fast as he normally was, owing to the forced diet as a result of the Dreader's presence, still had muscles on his chest that would have made a decent-sized bull weep tears of jealousy. And when he bellowed like a dinosaur declaring war, so these gentle words could have been heard faintly but clearly on the neighbouring island. Hiccup swallowed hard. "Yes, father," he repeated defiantly, "I think you're wrong." Stoic had called an emergency meeting in the Great Hall to present his clever and intelligent plan for getting rid of the Dreader. Stoic was not the brightest barbarian in the business. In fact, he had had just about enough brain cells to keep one gigantic leg moving in front of the other. So this plan had taken him weeks of sleepless nights and painful days, with Gobber the Belch holding his sword arm and applying hot towels while he went through the exhausting process of thinking. And as a result, Stoic wasn't too happy about the clever and intelligent plan being criticised. The plan was this: Stoic the Vast's clever and intelligent plan. 1. Whole tribe wakes early to take creature by surprise. 2. Set sail, bashing axes on shields to confuse the creature. 3. Bash the monster until it dies or swims away. 4. Celebrate with large fish feast and annual banquet to be called from this moment on the Day of the Dreader. "If you provoke the Dreader like this, it might attack out of self-defence," said Hiccup. "I think we should try and talk to it and ask it what it wants." "Talk to it!" yelled Stoic. "The speaking of Dragonese is forbidden, as well you know. And legend tells us that the Dreader is one of the most fearsome and supernatural creatures in the archipelago. Its power is horrific." "Well then," said Hiccup stubbornly, "if we can't talk to it, I think we should be patient a little longer and wait for it to go away." Stoic the Vast swelled and turned purple with temper. "Be patient!" stormed Stoic the Vast furiously. "I've been eating limpets for the last 6 weeks. If that's not patience, I don't know what is." "Yes, but father," argued Hiccup. "Silence!" roared Stoic. "The chief has spoken. Every man, woman, child, and dragon will join in the clever and intelligent plan tomorrow. The Dreader must die." "Attack!" bellowed the Vikings, raising weary arms despite their empty tummies. "The Dreader dies tomorrow." Fishlegs, Hiccup's best friend, was the only person in the hooligan tribe who was worse at everything Vikingy than Hiccup. Fishlegs had asthma, eczema, and an inconvenient allergy to reptiles. Now he sighed and said to Hiccup, "You're not going to persuade them, Hiccup. You know what they're like. After a while they just have to go and bash something, however stupid an idea that is. It's like asking a whole load of overexcited warthogs to be patient." Hiccup sighed too. I know, I have a really bad feeling about this dreader business. Hiccup swallowed. His stomach did a couple of nauseating flip-flops as he thought about some of the things he had found out about the dreader in the sagas he had read. I heard about one Viking ship that had a nasty encounter with a dreader, and when they came back to harbour, Hiccup's voice dropped to a whisper, every one of them had lost their heads. They were all sitting there, still holding on to the oars, but not a head on any of them. No wonder all the other dragons were frightened of them. Fishlegs sighed and rubbed his neck. I thought they were just supposed to send you mad. But they remove your whole head, do they? You see, I'm very fond of my head, said Fishlegs. Me and my head go way back. Call me old-fashioned, but I'm definitely keen on keeping it right where it is. Up in the rafters perched the hunting dragons, large as crocodiles, their ribs showing through their thin skin, their eyes watching the cheering Vikings down below. There were Slitherfangs, Gronkles, monstrous nightmares, a multitude of dragon species. Who will win the day tomorrow? Thought the dragons. Whoever it is, we shall get fed at last. Dragons, you see, are only faithful to their human masters up to a certain point, and the dragons were hungry too. Late that evening, when Hiccup returned home, Stoic, his father, was furious with him. How dare you question me in public, Hiccup, yelled Stoic, criticising my plan and banging on about talking to the dreader, when everyone knows that the speaking of Dragonese is forbidden. Not only is it disloyal to me, it's dangerous. You will be chief one day, and you can't have them thinking you talk to dragons. It's not allowed, and well, it's a little weird. Hiccup looked miserable. He was always trying to please his father, and somehow he never seemed to. Promise me you will not try and talk to this monster, ordered Stoic. I don't want you getting too close to it. Hiccup mumbled that he promised. And another thing, roared Stoic. Who do you think did this? Stoic held up the chewed remains of a sword belt. Uh-oh. Hiccup's hunting dragon, Toothless, was hiding guiltily under the table. Toothless was the smallest, cutest, most wriggly common or garden hunting dragon that anybody had ever seen before or since. He was also the naughtiest. Muttered Hiccup. Mice? He suggested hopefully. This was not mice. Those are the gun marks of a fang-free dragon, yelled Stoic. Your dragon, Hiccup, and I suppose you're going to tell me that those flame-breathing mice have set fire to my priceless spear collection as well. That dragon of yours is completely out of control. If he's not chewing things, he's burning my underpants. There are scorch marks all over this house. You have to show him who's boss, Hiccup. Show him who's boss. And Stoic the Vast reached under the table with a big arm, and he caught Toothless by the leg and sat him on the table. Now listen to me, Juiceless, or whatever you're called, yelled Stoic firmly. The next time you burn something or chew something, I will throw you out of this house forever. Do you understand me? You see, Hiccup, explained Stoic, it's perfectly simple. I am your boss, so I think up the clever and intelligent plan, and you do as you are told. And you are the boss of Toothless, so you tell him what to do, and he does it. Now I'm going to need an early night if I'm going to bash up that dreader tomorrow. He gave a gigantic yawn and stomped off to bed. Hiccup looked at Toothless reproachfully. You have to stop being so selfish, said Hiccup. But Toothless was hungry, whined Toothless. Was Toothless's tummy's fault? It told Toothless it was so empty, and Toothless felt sorry for it. Hiccup sighed. We're all hungry, Toothless. It's so hard looking after you if you won't do what you're told. You know the rules. They're all written up on your star chart. No chewing my father's stuff. Okay. Toothless nodded his head so hard his horns wobbled. No pooing inside the house. No, agreed Toothless. And absolutely no setting fire to things, said Hiccup in his sternest voice. You don't want my father throwing you out, do you?" "Toothless will be good," said Toothless. "Toothless promises. Cross Toothless's heart and hope to die. Toothless will be very, very good." But I'm afraid I know the truth, and Toothless had his claws crossed behind his back. Thank you for joining me. I hope you're all safe at home, and we're looking forward to seeing you all really soon. Bye!